Hello and welcome to Gadget Guide USA. Thanks for watching my Sricam Bullet Cam IP camera. Essentially what it is, it's a night vision capable camera, outdoor camera as well. As you can see it here, it's pretty much, as you can see, these are all infrareds and that improves the night vision. Check the end of my video for actual footage shot both with the regular camera and the night vision camera, and we'll talk about the resolution here in a second. Pretty much we'll start with the box as usual. It's a retail quality box. It just says IP camera. It has this model number 81641 Sricam. It's a plug and play, includes software. You can access it with your smartphone. It has night vision. Basically shows some setups about how you can connect it. You can connect your IP camera to a switch, to a router, and you can go to the internet and connect with your desktop over the internet, and that's all possible. I tested it. But it's just pretty much your standard box. We'll go ahead and get rid of that now. Inside the box, you're going to find pretty much everything you need, except maybe a smartphone or a PC to actually view it. You'll find this mount, which mounts to the bottom here. And you basically just screw it on here. I'm not going to go crazy and mount it all the way. But you get the idea. You can mount it to pretty much any surface you want. It comes with this little hex key, so you can tighten these down. See, as you can see, you can just go ahead and spin that, and that tightens the mount. And then you can just lock that hex key down to lock this in position, however you'd like to mount it, whatever's most convenient. But to continue talking about, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. We'll set the mount over here. Like I said, the mount includes the hex key to tighten down the mount here. You can see those hex bolts there. And then in addition, it comes with 3 screws and 3 drywall anchors. So you can place it, not necessarily, so you can place it in drywall. It also included this IP camera, and you will need this disc to load it onto a PC. However, the app is available from the Play Store by scanning a QR code on the manual. And we're going to go ahead and open up the manual here, and the first thing I'm going to say is this is not a great manual. You can, as long as you step through it with one obvious error, if you make it through this manual, it will work. It's a little bit confusing, but you can definitely make it through it. There is one obvious error in step 4 here, and that's how to view the camera via a browser, and we'll get more to that as we go over the setup. So of course we're going to go ahead and start with the regular setup. It says to download the software, and it gives you a place. It's also available on the disk, and then connect the camera to a network. To start this off, the camera has Wi-Fi. It's a completely Wi-Fi capable camera, but in order to get it to actually connect to the Wi-Fi, the very first thing you have to do is plug in an Ethernet cord. I'm going to grab this over. See, I actually have it powered and running right now. So the first thing you have to do is actually plug an Ethernet cord into your router to set it up. It doesn't have to be where it's going to go finally. You just bring it next to your computer for the setup, and then after you have it set up to Wi-Fi, you can go ahead and go add it to the mount wherever you'd like to have it. But basically you just plug it into the router using Ethernet, and then you connect to the router using the actual software on the disk. Or you can, after you install the software on the disk, you can actually use Internet Explorer or Firefox to go to its IP at port 81 and connect. Or you can use the program they give you called P2p Finder, which you click a find button. And we're going to go all over the actual setup here in a second once I grab the laptop. So basically, you connect this to the Ethernet, and then you grab your phone and you scan this app, and it'll take you to the Play Store. And it'll give you an app called AP Camera. You essentially just, as soon as you open the app there, you click Add New Camera, and then you click Find. And as long as your phone is connected to the same Wi-Fi that this camera is plugged into, it'll find it easily. You click Done, and then the camera will appear here. As you see, I have it. It says IP Cam. It says it's offline. It shouldn't be when I connect it. It'll see it's connecting. It's online now. So once you have this, it's the app. It's really easy to use. This is probably the best part of the camera, is definitely the app. You can click events, and you can set it to record at certain times. You can click photo here, so you can you can actually view the photos you've taken. You can view the videos you've taken. If you actually see, I've taken quite a few videos. One of the problems is that Android can't play AVI files. With the stock video player. Either you can download other video players to view AVIs on Android. I didn't care because I transferred them all right to my PC and watched them on my PC, or actually my Mac. I transferred them all to my Mac and watched them on my Mac. But just so you know, you can't watch the videos right off of stock Android, but there's all kinds of video players. VLC Media for Android, there's all kinds of them. So just look for a player that plays AVI apps if you want to play the videos on your phone. You can view the camera, you just can't view the recorded videos. So now we're going to go back to camera, and we're going to click here, and we're going to look at the menu for this. And it does have quite a few. As you can see, this is it's not made specifically for this camera. It works great for this camera. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you can see here as pan and tilt buttons for other IP cameras, so you actually move the camera. This is a solid mount camera. It has no way of moving. So those arrows are kind of pointless, so they're just there. So we'll go ahead and say, as you can see, you know, I'm moving it. The delay on this is really nice. A lot of the other IP cameras have like a 4 or 5 second delay. This one only has like maybe a second and a half. And the night vision is great, but we'll get to that. If you want to see the night vision, check the end of my video for actual footage shot with the night vision there. So we can click on the menu here, and we have all these menu buttons. It has a lot of adjustments. This sound button is completely useless for this particular cam because it doesn't have a microphone or anything like that. But you can take photos. I click this button that says taking photos succeeded, and that photo is actually being stored on my phone. This button right here will begin video. See, as soon as I click that, it's now recording video directly onto the phone, but I really don't want to record too much, so we're going to go ahead and turn it off. This button right here gives you some just viewing options. You can optimize it, whether you'd have better speed or quality. And this right here is actually controls the infrared camera. You won't be able to see it through the camera because that lens actually filters infrared light, but I promise you that when you click this, you can turn it on. You turn the lamp on. Like I said, you can't see it, but it's on. And that's the infrared is for the purpose of night vision. You have some other options. You can turn the presets. You can click this, and you can, I mean, it says it has zoom, even though it doesn't. So you can click this. Okay, go to that menu, and you can click zoom, and you can click these buttons, and you can try to change focus, but it's really not going to do anything due to the fact that this camera really doesn't have zoom. But you can do everything you want as far as you can record programs, you can take photos, and you can turn the night vision on and off. And you can also use this app on the go, like using 3G or 4G internet. One thing is that in order to be able to connect to this IP camera over the internet, you absolutely have to have port forwarding. So if you don't know how to do port forwarding, or you don't know what port forwarding is, you're probably going to have to get some help. This manual does not go over port forwarding at all, and it's something you absolutely have to do in order to view it on the go. In order to view it like I'm viewing it now, like this phone's connected to Wi-Fi and this camera's connected to the same Wi-Fi, you don't have to do anything special. It works right out of the box. But if you're going to want to watch this away from home using another desktop or your phone while on 3G or 4G connection, you will have to do port forwarding with your router. It's really simple if you've done it before, but if you've never done it before, there's plenty of, say, Google apps and things like that. You just need to port forward port 81 to the IP address to the camera, and then set DHCP to the camera to keep the same IP address. If that sounds alien to you, actually give me an email. I'll help you step through the setup if you have any problems. But if that does sound alien to you, it might be a little bit more difficult to set up this camera. All right, so it tells you how to add the camera, which we already went over. Step 4 is how to view the camera inside your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my laptop as I normally do. Okay, step 4, how to view the camera via browser. The first thing you're going to do is off that disk that came with the device. You are going to go to the folder called English. Then you're going to go to this folder right here called P2p ID Finder software. Then you're going to double click P2p ID Finder and install it, then click Finish. When you're done with that, you're going to double click IPCam ActiveX software. You're going to install that, and then you're going to click Finish. Once you're done with that, we're going to go back here. We're going to go to this folder called OCX. We're going to double click, and then we're going to install this OCX O player. We're going to double click that, and it's going to install, and then we're going to click Finish. 4 actually says run the search tool. The directions don't tell you that the P2p ID Finder is the search tool. So step 4 is actually go back to this P2p ID Finder and double click P2p ID Finder. When that opens, you're going to go ahead and see this. As long as your desktop is connected to the exact same internet that the camera is connected to, when you click Find, you're going to see a camera appear right here. And you see its IP address, 192.168.1.110. If you actually want to log in manually to through a browser, that's the IP address you use to log in. So if you're on your home network and you want to log in manually, you'd open up Internet Explorer and type in HTTP
://192.168.1.110, and that'll connect to that IP address at port 81. You don't have to know how to do that because P2p Finder does it for you. So basically, you're going to, after you click Find, you're going to see your camera here. You can see mine's named IP Cam there. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to click Open. Once you click Open, you're going to get a screen just like this on Internet Explorer, and it's going to ask for your username and password. The username, by default, is admin, and the password is blank. You can change this to whatever you would like later. We're going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to give you these three options. You can actually, go to this address that you see right here, and if you type that in, you can get there through your PC, through your phone. You can get to these. You can get to this settings options through however you want. But we're going to use Internet Explorer, and Internet Explorer is the best one to use. It's recommended because it gives you options that Chrome, Firefox, and Safari do not. So now we see our options here. This right here, the double cross wrench, is settings. That's make a recording. That's take a snapshot. And these two buttons are not used. It's headphones and microphone. And these buttons are. See, I'm recording right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off. I don't want to record anything. What these buttons for is if you have more than one camera connected, you can click on this and you can view 4 cameras at a time. If you want to go back to one camera, just go ahead and double click. We see our options over here. These aren't really important, but infrared is, and that's how you can manually turn infrared on and off if you'd like. The camera does, however, automatically turn infrared off in the dark, or turn infrared on in the dark and turn it off during the day. There's a small sensor in it that detects light. And this is for mirroring. So when I click this button, you'll see it flip upside down. The other button will actually invert it the other way. So then you can have your resolution. You can set it to 640 by 480, or you can lower it. Mode 60 Hertz, OSD disable. Brightness and contrast aren't very important right now, but they're very important for the night vision aspect. So if you're looking at the night vision and it doesn't, it's not a good enough picture, it's too light, it's too bright, anything's wrong with it like that, then you can adjust brightness and contrast. So the other options are going to be, we have your settings, and mess that up, sorry about that. And so just so you know, if you're logged in through Safari, Chrome, or Firefox, or any browser that is not Internet Explorer, you're not going to see all these buttons down here. You're only going to see the settings button and the photograph button and these 3 buttons. You won't be able to do recordings if you log in with any browser other than Internet Explorer, just so you know. Now let's go ahead and go over the settings. Click Settings, and we're going to go to a Settings menu here. And device information, pretty self-explanatory. It gives you all these options here. Alias settings, that's if you want to change the name of your camera. I could change that to Steven's camera or whatever else. Date and time, pretty self-explanatory. User settings are for setting up temporary user passwords. Basically, if you want, like if you have a babysitter or somebody that's house sitting and you want to give them temporary access, you can add a username and password here without giving them your administrator user and password. Multi-device settings, like I said, you can hook up a lot of devices to this. This is how you choose what are the first 4 devices. So if you have 10 devices and you want to set the 4 you want to see the most right here, and those are the ones that will appear when you pick the cross section like I showed you earlier when you can view 4 cameras at once. Basic network settings, I wouldn't suggest you mess with this very much. If you're a pro, you'll know exactly what they mean anyway. Wireless LAN settings, this is actually step 5 on the instructions, how to setting the Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's exactly what the instructions say. Trust me, yeah, I know it's weird, but that's the way it is. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to click Scan, and when you click Scan, you're going to see all the available internets here. So as you can see, my internet's named Steal My Internet, so you're going to click Steal My Internet, or you're going to click whatever Wi-Fi you want to connect to, and then you're going to go down here and put in your password, whatever it is, and then when you're done, you're going to click Submit. I'm not actually going to click Submit, because when you click Submit, the camera restarts and automatically connects to Wi-Fi. So I don't actually want the camera to restart now because I'm playing with it, but if you were to click Submit, that's actually step 5. I've showed you how to do step 5, and really your setup is complete. We're going to go ahead and continue to talk about some of the other settings available. UPnP, I wouldn't suggest you turn this off unless you're a pro. So UPnP means Universal Plug and Play. It's a standard for disconnecting and reconnecting devices easily over internet and for file sharing and things like that. DDNS, I wouldn't suggest you play with this unless you know what you're doing. And the mail service settings and the alarm service settings here are interrelated. Basically what the alarm service is that you can set it So if the camera detects motion, it will have an alarm. Not a visual, not an actual alarm where it buzzes, but what happens is it can detect, if you set up alarm service and you set up the mail service, whenever the camera detects motion, it can send you an email saying, hey, I've detected motion. So let's say you're at work, nobody's supposed to be in your home, and you have it all set up for the mail service, and you get it, and somebody breaks into your house, you can actually get an email saying, I've detected motion. You can log in over the internet as long as you port forwarded it, and you can see what's going on at your house and to know whether to call the police or know whether, say, your cat just set it off. So that can be a really handy service, but like I said, it does require extra setup. You do have to set up your own mail service here. You do have to set up the alarm service. So, I mean, there is some setting up and playing with it done, but if that's what you want to do, then it's probably worth it to you. Then we have PTZ setting, which is pan, tilt, zoom. This camera doesn't pan, tilt, or zoom, so it doesn't really apply. File storage settings is something very important. I've set it here to actually, anytime I make a file recording, it puts it in a folder called English on my desktop. That just happens to be the same folder that I install all this software to. So you can actually put that wherever you want. You select it, and you can put it in all kinds of different places. You could put it on your desktop or whatever folder you'd like to. But wherever you set that to is where it will actually deposit the recordings. Upgrade device firmware, I didn't do that. Record schedule, this doesn't apply to this camera. This camera does not have an internal SD card, so don't go to record schedule if you have this camera. And then here's the alarm log. This is just some stuff. I was playing a little bit with the motion detection alarm to see how it worked and to make sure, in fact, it did send an email. So, I mean, it does work fine. It's just the setup is a little bit more complicated than what I go over for this basic video. So now we're going to go ahead and go back. That's pretty much all the features of this camera. At the end of the day, this camera is a sub $50 outdoor camera that's water resistant and has lots of functionalities for under $50. Really, for the money I paid for this, like I said, sub $50 has more functionality than I would expect. Really, I'm going to give this camera a thumbs up, mainly because it works great. It's an outdoor camera. It's water resistant. It has night vision up to 60 feet. And those are all great things going for it. Some of the things that, maybe are not so great, not cons, but 640 by 480 resolution isn't a high resolution, but this is an outdoor security camera, so I understand. And it's a sub $50 camera, so I really don't expect resolution like that. And another thing that's going great for it is the phone app that they give you for free is great. Some of the downsides are this desktop app right here. It isn't the greatest. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest. So that's definitely a con. And another con is, of course, the setup, which is not so easy. But hopefully this video helps you make it through it very easily. So at the end of the day, definitely giving it the thumbs up. Great outdoor camera. You just got to get over the setup, and you got to get through this horrible instruction manual, and hopefully my video helps. I do hope you enjoyed my review today. Comments are always welcome at the bottom of the page. Subscriptions are always appreciated. Thank you. And if you have any specific questions, comments, or suggestions, please email me at GadgetGuideUSA@gmail.com. Thank you for your time.